Esther's Easter Dress, a young girl's adventure through Orthodox Holy Week. Written by Katherine Kafarakis. Read by the author. Dedication. I'd like to dedicate this book to my mother, Esther Harris, who taught me with her thoughtful words and praxis, consistent actions, how to be a good Orthodox Christian. To my daddy, whom I never miss because he's always right here in my heart. And to Faye Colster, my other mother, who opened her home and her heart to my family and was always there to help me and pray with me. Chapter 1. Esther's Easter Dress. It was Friday. Spring break started the minute Esther stepped onto the bus. No homework and no school for 9 days. Esther should have been feeling happy and free, but she was feeling blue. She sat alone in her seat in the middle of the school bus. She slouched back in her seat and played with the strap on her backpack while she daydreamed about the Easter dress she had seen in the store window. I can't believe my mom won't buy me a new Easter dress, Esther thought. Easter won't be the same this year. The bus ride home was long and bumpy, down long country roads. Esther's short blonde hair flapped up and down after each bump. She turned her head and watched the rain run down the window pane. She could hear her Sunday school teacher, Mrs. Pappas, explain how this year the third grade girls would be participating in the Holy Friday night service. They would all be dressed in white, standing guard next to the epitafios as maidens guarding Jesus' tomb. How am I supposed to participate without a new white dress? She thought. I just won't go. Maria, who slid into the seat in front of Esther, peeked over the back of the seat and asked, Esther, when can you come over to see my new Easter dress? Maria was the only other Greek girl in school, and they lived on the same street. They had been friends since kindergarten. It's long down to my ankles, and it's got a big bow in the back, explained Maria. The bus jerked to a stop. Maybe tomorrow, Esther said as she slid out of her seat and bounded down the aisle. She jumped off the bus into a puddle, splashing water everywhere. As she raced down the gravel driveway to her house, she caught every tree branch on the way. Mom, I'm home, she called out as she dropped her soaked backpack and jacket on the kitchen floor. Hi, honey, how was your day? Called Esther's mom from the other room. Fine, Esther responded. She found her mom folding clothes in the laundry room and gave her a hug. Has Daddy found a new job yet? No, not yet. Why? Because I know if he doesn't, I can't get a new Easter dress. I wouldn't worry about your daddy, said her mom. Let's go into the kitchen and have a snack. As Esther sat at the kitchen table, her mom poured her a glass of juice. How about hanging up your jacket in the laundry room to dry, and let's see what you brought home from school, she said as she made Esther's favorite snack, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Esther shared her corrected school papers with her mom, and they looked over her assignment page together. Looks like you have no homework. Mom, I don't want to be in the epitafios service. I don't have a white dress, and I know we can't go and get a new one because Daddy has to find a new job, so I just won't go. Well, maybe we can borrow one of your cousin's white dresses, suggested her mom. Esther rolled her eyes. Oh, Mom, no way, she said defiantly. None of their dresses will fit me. We'll see, her mom said. Tomorrow is the Saturday of Lazarus, and we're going to church in the morning. After church, we'll help make crosses out of palm leaves for Sunday." "But I don't know how to make them," said Esther. "Mrs. Pappas will be there, and I'm sure she'll teach us how. I'll tell you the story of Lazarus before your bedtime story tonight. I'll tell you the story of Lazarus for your bedtime story tonight." When it was bedtime, Mom helped Esther get under the covers and started the story. Jesus had 3 good friends, 2 sisters named Mary and Martha, and their brother Lazarus. One day, while visiting a town not too far from where they lived, Jesus received a message that Lazarus was very sick, and his sisters asked Jesus to come quickly to help Lazarus get better. They knew that Jesus could cure their brother because of the wonderful miracles he had done. When Jesus finally arrived 4 days later, the sisters greeted him with tears, saying that it was too late. Lazarus had already died. Jesus wept. He asked to be taken to the place where Lazarus was buried, and there he performed another miracle. Do you remember the story and how it ended? "Yes," Esther said. "Jesus went to the tomb where Lazarus was buried and made Lazarus live again. That made everyone happy." "That's right. And that's the happiness I want you to feel tonight as you fall asleep. Let's say our prayers," said her mom. They said the Lord's Prayer together, and they kissed goodnight. Chapter 2. The Saturday of Lazarus. The next day, Esther and her mom went to church and heard the gospel story of Lazarus. It was hard standing still for the hour-long service, and Esther's mom had to ask her several times to stop fidgeting. After church, they went downstairs to the church hall. There were tables set up for people to sit and eat a Lenten breakfast. Esther got some fruit and a bagel. She went over to the table where Maria was sitting. They watched some older ladies folding and cutting the palm leaves. After they finished eating, the girls sat down by Mrs. Pappas and learned how to fold the palms into crosses. It was hard at first, trying to figure out how to fold and tuck in the palm strips, but they caught on, and by the end of the session, they had made hundreds of crosses. When Esther got home that afternoon, Aunt Sophia had left a brown paper bag on the back steps. Standing in the kitchen, Esther took a dress out of the bag and held it up for her mom to see. "Well, it's definitely big," said Esther's mom. "Let's see what it looks like on." Esther ran upstairs to her room and put on the enormous white dress. She looked in the mirror and shook her head. "It'll be a miracle if this ever fits me." When she returned downstairs, her mom had gotten out her pins and measuring tape and was ready to alter the dress. She pinched and tucked the garment around the waist and on the shoulders. As she pinned the dress, she said, "I learned to sew from my Aunt Poppy. She was a seamstress in her small village in Greece. When she came to America, she would sew dresses for the ladies around town. She could see a dress in the store window and come home and make it without a pattern. She could alter even the hardest dress and make it look like new." "I sure wish Aunt Poppy was here now," Esther thought. "Now hold still so I don't prick you with one of my pins," said her mother. "Tomorrow is Palm Sunday. We'll go to church and hear the story of Jesus coming to Jerusalem." "I know, Mrs. Pappas told us the story in Sunday school," Esther interrupted. "Did you know that back in those days, great kings would ride into cities on horses to show how powerful they were?" Jesus used a donkey to show that he came in peace, and everyone waved palm branches and shouted, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!" He rode on a donkey so that what the prophets had said about him would be fulfilled, continued her mom. The Son of God will come riding on a donkey. There, let's carefully take off this dress and go hang it in the closet. I'll work on it later. After liturgy on Sunday, Father Nick handed out the palm crosses to everyone. Esther wondered who would get the ones that she made.